Here's what you're about to do. You're about to clear your schedule, cancel your plans, and say goodbye to polite society for a little while, because you're about to listen to the Binge. We're going deep. We're going long. We're leaving no stone unturned, no corner unexplored, and no subject undevoured. So settle in, get comfortable, and prepare to indulge.
It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.
And now, it's time for the rant. Buckle up, because things are about to get loud, unfiltered, and passionately opinionated. We're taking on topics that make your blood boil, the injustices that make you scream, and the everyday frustrations that unite us all in shared exasperation. Get ready to unleash your inner outrage, because here on The Rant, no holds are barred.
Cast anthem, daily grind. Thoughts unleashed, no place to hide. Passion storming every mind. Tune in, tune out, tonight we ride.
Right, I've had it. I've truly, utterly, and spectacularly had it with the sheer, unadulterated stupidity of modern air travel. You'd think, wouldn't you, that after a century of flying through the air in metal tubes, we'd have figured out a system that doesn't involve quite so much soul-crushing misery. I mean, the basic concept is sound. You get in a plane, it goes zoom, you arrive somewhere else. Fucking marvelous. But the execution? It's as if it's designed by a committee of sadists, each one competing to make the experience more unpleasant than the last. A competition, I imagine, held in some windowless, fluorescent-lit room, possibly near an airport, with complimentary stale peanuts and lukewarm coffee as the grand prize. Take, for instance, the security. Oh, the security. We've all been there, haven't we? The endless queues, snaking back and forth like some kind of Kafkaesque conga line, and shuffling, the resigned expressions on everyone's faces as we contemplate the indignity of what's to come. You take off your shoes, and let's face it, airplane carpet is a biohazard, a petri dish of unimaginable horrors. Your belt, which inevitably sets off the metal detector despite being made of something that looks suspiciously like cardboard, your watch, your jewelry, your loose change, your dignity, and then you get to shuffle through some sort of futuristic microwave while a bored-looking chap stares at you like you're a particularly uninteresting insect. Or perhaps a potential threat to national security because you forgot to take out your contact lens case. And for what? So they can confiscate your tiny, clearly non-lethal tube of toothpaste, the one you bought specifically for travel, in compliance with their ridiculously stringent rules? It's a fucking pantomime. A ritual humiliation disguised as safety. A safety that, let's be honest, is probably more compromised by the sheer incompetence of some of these screeners than by anything we, the bewildered passengers, could possibly be carrying. And then there's the seating. Economy class. Yes. The clue's in the name, isn't it? Economy, as in, we've economized on everything, including your personal space, your comfort, and your will to live. You're crammed into a space roughly the size of a bread bin, your knees jammed into the seat in front, which inevitably will be reclined into your lap the moment the fasten seatbelt sign goes off, reducing your already minuscule living space to something akin to a coffin. The air is stale, recycled, and smells faintly of desperation and feet. The lighting is harsh, a kind of buzzing, fluorescent glare that makes everyone look vaguely unwell, and the person next to you is either snoring like a constipated rhinoceros, drooling slightly onto your shoulder, or trying to engage you in a conversation about their stamp collection, their dietary restrictions, and the agonizing details of their recent surgery. It's a goddamn endurance test, a feat of human contortionism and tolerance that would make Houdini weep. And the food. Oh, the food. I use the term loosely. It's not food, really, is it? It's some sort of substance, a grayish, vaguely gelatinous concoction that bears no resemblance to anything found in nature. It comes in a plastic tray, accompanied by a plastic fork, a plastic knife, and a plastic smile from the flight attendant, who is clearly just as thrilled to be serving it as you are to be eating it. You pick at it, you poke at it, you try to identify its constituent parts, but it's a mystery. A culinary black hole. A beige-colored enigma wrapped in plastic. You suspect it might have once been chicken or perhaps fish or possibly some sort of root vegetable, but after hours in the air, recycled and reheated, it has achieved a state of matter that defies categorization. Then there's the baggage. You entrust your worldly possessions to these people, these baggage handlers, and what happens? They lose it. They mangle it. They send it to Ulaanbaatar. Or even worse, they send it to the other airport in your destination city, the one that's a 3-hour bus ride away and closes at 5 p.m. on Sundays. And then when you finally get it back, if you're lucky, it looks like it's been used as a football by a team of angry gorillas. A team, I might add, with a particular penchant for targeting the most fragile items in your suitcase. You're left standing there amidst the wreckage of your suitcase, surrounded by shattered souvenirs and clothes that now resemble abstract art, wondering why you ever bothered to leave the house in the first place, why you didn't just stay home with a good book and a stiff drink and imagine yourself in a far-off, less stressful locale. So yeah, that's my rant, air travel. It's a fucking nightmare. A symphony of suffering orchestrated by the forces of bureaucracy and incompetence. I feel slightly better now, slightly. The security lines are still long, the seats are still small, the food is still inedible, and my luggage is probably still in Ulaanbaatar, or possibly being used as a landfill in Newark, but at least I've got that off my chest. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go scream into a pillow, a large, soundproof pillow, and possibly book myself a very, very long train journey for my next trip. And now it's time for our recurring segment, the Top 10 List, where we tackle the burning issues of the day with questionable authority and a healthy dose of humor. This week, we're diving headfirst into the chaotic world of home improvement. That's right, folks, we're talking about DIY renovations. Those projects that start with a trip to Home Depot and end with you questioning your sanity and the structural integrity of your house. So strap on your tool belts, grab a beer, and prepare to nod in horrified recognition as we present the top 10 joys of DIY home renovation.
Top 10 time, it's the thrill of the night. Rankings up high, feeling take flight. Listening close, get ready to climb. We're counting it down, it's top 10 time.
1. The planning. It all starts with such optimism, doesn't it? You stand in your kitchen or bathroom or whatever room you decided to improve, and you envision this glorious transformation. A weekend, you think, a few coats of paint, maybe some new tiles. How hard can it be? Famous last goddamn words. 2. The tools. This is where it gets interesting. You discover that to do even the simplest tasks, you need a bewildering array of specialized tools. A trip to the hardware store turns into a goddamn expedition, and you emerge hours later and several $100s poorer with a collection of implements you'll use once and then forget the names of. 3. The instructions. The instructions, those cryptic diagrams and indecipherable sentences that accompany every DIY project. They're written in some kind of ancient language, I swear, designed to confuse and frustrate the average human being. You stare at them cross-eyed, wondering if you've accidentally stumbled into some kind of elaborate practical joke. 4. The unexpected problems. This is where the real fun begins. You start demolishing with gusto only to discover that behind that wall is a family of squirrels, or the plumbing is held together with duct tape and wishful thinking. Every project, it seems, comes with its own unique and utterly unforeseen set of catastrophes. 5. The measurements. You'd think measuring would be straightforward, wouldn't you? A simple matter of point A to point B, but no. In the world of DIY, measurements are fluid, unreliable things. You measure twice, cut once, and it's still somehow 3 inches too short, or too long, or possibly both at the same time. 6. The level. The level, that small, innocent-looking tool, is a cruel mistress. It mocks your every attempt to create a straight line or a flat surface. Level, it proclaims, with smug certainty, even as your creation slopes gently toward the horizon. It's a conspiracy, I tell you, a conspiracy of inanimate objects. 7. The cleanup. After days or weeks or months of toil, you're finally finished. The room is, well, it's different. But now comes the cleanup, the seemingly endless task of removing dust, debris, and the general detritus of destruction and construction. You find plaster dust in places you didn't even know existed. It's a goddamn nightmare. 8. The professional finish. You stand back admiring your handiwork and you notice the flaws, the uneven paint, the slightly crooked tiles, the gaps, the overlaps, the general air of rusticness. It's not quite the magazine-worthy transformation you envisioned. In fact, it looks vaguely like something a drunken badger might have cobbled together. 9. The cost overruns. Remember that initial budget? That carefully calculated estimate of time and money? Ha! What a naive fool you were. The project has taken twice as long and cost 3 times as much as you planned. You could have hired a professional and gone on a luxury vacation for the same amount. 10. The sense of accomplishment. And yet, despite all the blood, sweat, tears, and muttered curses, there's a small, perverse sense of satisfaction. You did it. You transformed a room with your own 2 hands, however imperfectly. And you've learned a valuable lesson. Never, ever, under any circumstances, attempt to renovate anything ever again, unless, of course, you're a masochist. That has been the Top 10 List. Ode to the Doorknob. Let us take a moment, shall we, to consider the doorknob. In our rush through life, our headlong dash from one room to another, from one building to the next, how often do we pause to reflect on this most humble of inventions, the doorknob? It is, without a doubt, one of humanity's quieter triumphs. Think about it. The doorknob is the unsung hero of architecture, the steadfast guardian of privacy, the silent facilitator of entry and exit. It is the first thing we touch when we enter a space, and the last thing we touch when we leave. It has witnessed countless hellos and goodbyes, secret trysts and hasty retreats, the mundane comings and goings of everyday life. The doorknob is a marvel of engineering in its own right. A simple lever, a twist, a click, and an entire world is open to us, or closed off, as the case may be. It is a mechanism so intuitive, so perfectly suited to its purpose that we rarely give it a second thought. We take it for granted like the air we breathe, or the ground beneath our feet. But the doorknob's story is richer and more complex than we might imagine. Its origins can be traced back to ancient civilizations where rudimentary mechanisms of wood and bone were used to secure doors. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, employed wooden locks in what could be considered early forerunners of the doorknob. Over centuries, the doorknob evolved, shaped by changing architectural styles, technological advancements, and cultural preferences. Did you know that the earliest known doorknobs were quite simple in design? Imagine a basic cylindrical shape, easy to grip, fashioned from materials like bone or stone. It wasn't until much later that more intricate designs began to emerge. From the ornate brass knobs of Victorian mansions to the sleek minimalist levers of modern apartments, doorknobs have reflected the aesthetic sensibilities of their time. Early designs were often handcrafted, showcasing the artistry and skill of blacksmiths and metalworkers. These weren't just functional objects, they were often works of art. With the advent of industrialization, mass production made doorknobs more accessible to the masses, leading to greater standardization, but also opening up new possibilities for design and innovation. The 19th century in particular saw a boom in doorknob design. American physician Abraham O. Stansbury received an early patent for a double-acting pin tumbler lock in 1805, and by the mid-1800s, cast iron knobs were becoming increasingly common. Today's doorknobs come in a staggering variety of shapes and sizes. There are doorknobs that twist, doorknobs that turn, doorknobs that push, and doorknobs that pull. They are crafted from an array of materials, including brass, bronze, crystal, glass, and even space-age alloys. You might be surprised to learn that during the Great Depression, glass and porcelain knobs became popular due to the need to conserve metal for the war effort. And there are even doorknobs that, thanks to modern technology, can scan your fingerprint or respond to your voice, blurring the line between simple mechanism and sophisticated security system. The evolution of the doorknob also reflects changing security concerns. Early doorknobs often had simple latching mechanisms, but as societies became more complex, so did the need for more sophisticated locks. This led to the development of mortise locks, cinder locks, and other advanced locking systems that are integrated into doorknob designs. Yet for all their diversity, doorknobs share a common purpose: to control access. They are the gatekeepers, the guardians of our personal space. They separate the public from the private, the inside from the outside, the known from the unknown. They define the boundaries of our homes, our offices, our sanctuaries. They are the silent arbiters of who is welcome and who is not. In a world that is constantly changing, the doorknob remains a constant. It is a reassuring presence, a familiar touchstone in our daily lives. It is a reminder that even in the most complex of structures, the simplest of mechanisms can play a vital role. It is a symbol of both stability and transition, of the threshold between one world and another. So the next time you reach for a doorknob, take a moment to appreciate this humble invention. Consider its history, its function, its quiet significance, and give thanks for the doorknob, that steadfast guardian of our thresholds, the silent facilitator of our journeys through the world. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe.
You know right now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Right now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Tune in right now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.